Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our neck of the woods. I cannot remember the last time I've been up since 6 a.m. and still awake at like 9 a.m. But we got some stuff to do today. We're just continuing to crack at the front of the house, trying to get it all completely done. So just went and picked up some 2x12s. We need to go ahead and start finishing out these stringers here. Again, if you're new to the channel, haven't seen me talk about it in the past, our stairs are gonna go from 8 feet out to 12, like a tapering effect. So right now we've got the 8-foot set up, but we need to put the last 2 stringers on, the outside there and the outside there. So gonna be an interesting cut. I only have 2 of them, so hopefully I don't mess them up, because not only do I have to get this angle right here cut correctly, but it can't just be flat cut back here. It has to be tapered at a cut here so that it tapers out. And then of course down there, and then all of these stairs as they come on over, they all have to be cut down there. And I think we're just gonna use these as guides to bring them on over again. And you also have like that as an angle. So a little bit tricky to cut. I'm gonna take my time and do those. But for today, let's set up and let's see if we can knock out our final taper of what this stair is actually going to look like. All right, so first thing first, since I don't have a lot of options or scrap that I can play with these, I have one of these, so I got my back measurement, so I know where to cut that step at. I just ran a string line or tape measure back here over to the bottom of that, so I know how long the bottom of the curve has to be to the bottom of the curve down there, so basically the longest point of the lumber. And then I just need to transfer this over to cut that back there. We'll worry about the 1.5 inch like off cut, so it's flush up against this board over here. I'll worry about that later, but at least I know this, and then I'll transfer that and I'll get that one down there. And then we just need to worry about the 2 side cuts up there and down there so that everything works out. But that one down there will actually be when the step's actually installed. So fingers crossed, let's just start transferring and hopefully we get this right. Change of plans. This is just a little bit easier. One of the stringers for the back deck. So we can just mark down to here. And now I know from this angle right here, which is the bottom angle of the stringer up there, we need to measure down about 100 inches for that being a longer stringer, because it's turned off to the side instead of going straight down. Well, I think I got it. So I went ahead and did cut that back angle. So not only are we kind of flush in here, but because that board is moved off to the side, I went ahead and got it basically cut back in here so it's sitting flush against there. And that was about a 10 degree on my saw that that's now kind of angled out more and sitting against there. And then down there, that's where I wanted. And if you take the level and hold it against all of the bottom of the stringers, it's actually equal going down all the way across the bottom. So that's actually where that stringer should just go. If I just nail it in up here, nail it in down there, I think we're good. The only thing I have to do now is cut off the front of that, which is also gonna have to be angled so it's flush across the front with all of the other stringers. And then I think what I'm gonna do is just undo the stairs and bring this board from here over to here. So that way all I have to do is draw on the bottom of that, and that will give me my rise and my run just transferred over to here. And it will also give me the correct angle and pitch. I may have to take one of these boards or an extra one and actually cut an angle on it, so it can slide over here flush and I can just transfer my line over. And then the new boards that will go up here, we'll run them like 2 inches long out over here, and that will lock that stringer in. So that actually worked a little bit better than I thought. So let me get this one up here nailed in at least, put the bracket down here and nail it in, and then we'll figure out all of the cuts and angles to transfer the stairs all the way over to the new stringer. Now the only thing with this bracket is because we are on an angle, instead of that being bent however degree I need, I do have to like bend out the bottom a little bit so it's kind of turned. But that's not obviously holding up a lot of weight at all. because this step is right here. So it's not like weight is pushing down on this stringer. If it was 2 feet out, like this bracket may fail one day, for example, it's not really holding anything up. And down there, it's fully supported by that 6x6. So this is really just for code more than anything. In fact, I probably just could have put a couple nails in through the side here and could have called this stringer a day, because again, it's not going to kick out being so close to this one up here. All right, so that bracket is all done. Nailed in there. Now I just need to put a lower bracket down here that I was planning on doing, just so they don't kick out to the side. And then again, we're just gonna bring those boards across. And I know people are probably thinking, what looks better? Sometimes people just run their stairs long and then nothing. And then sometimes other people put like kind of like a side thing up in here, so the stairs just go over and butt right up. The reason why I don't want to do one of those side things here, where I actually want to cut the rise and the run out and just run the stairs long, is because we're already planning on doing a back kick plate, and snow is already going to want to sit on that back kick plate in the top of the stair. So right in that corner right there is already a chance where things can rot out. So if I bring up a solid thing on here on the side to block that off, then that means right there in every corner, snow is just going to sit and water can sit, and it could rot that corner out. So I think it's better to actually cut this down, have the stairs run long, and it'll just make the stairs last longer. So I got to take off every one of these stairs now, and maybe go get an extra 2x10 that's laying over there, and we'll go ahead and just make like a piece to run over to here and get that angle cut right, so that we can get all of the rise and runs cut out. And then we'll go from there and finish this side up. All right, so first cut, everything seems to be looking okay. I grabbed one of these boards as a kick plate, and there's a little bit of a predicament of which way we want it to go. For example, if we're using 1.5 inch lumber for the stairs, which we weren't planning on because that top step is not gonna match up with the height of the deck. It's like 1/2 inch too big when we bring the last board here up to here. This is gonna be like 1/2 inch too tall. So we either swap out this one and continue the deck lumber all the way out for the first step, and then we transition down to 1.5 inches. So that way everything just is what it is. This last step will just be a little bit shorter in height than all these other ones. But the predicament again is with the kick plate, if we're using this lumber down here, if we sit the kick plate on top of the 1.5 inches, it's equal with the top of the stringer or the rise up. So if we change out these 2x10s and we get like 2x12s, we'll have enough of a bull nose to like hang out over here so you don't see that. But I don't think you put a kick plate on first. I think if you move the step out here and have the kick plate go down first and then you put the step up, I think that looks a cleaner of a look. And then we can space off the step from here out a little bit, so water can just drain on down here, and any water that hits here just drains on down and nothing gets caught. Basically, you just give a little bit of a gap so everything goes down in here. But with the kick plate doing that, now you can see we're off on how this next stair, if it were to come over here, we've got too much exposure here. So it's almost like we need to take 2 of these, rip cut them down, leaving the factory edge right here. So the cut edge will be underneath here that you won't see, and the cut edge on this one will be hidden up underneath the top step that the bull nose will go down over and you won't see it. So I think that's a cleaner look. That's what we're probably gonna have to do. So we just have to take these guys right here, rip cut them down, and then put the cut edges to basically where you won't see them. And then of course we'll have to space off this gap up in here so water doesn't really sit on this edge here. It can fall down. There's a little bit of breathing room that this can dry out when water is sitting on top of that kick plate. All right, so in a minute I am gonna head to the store and I'm gonna purchase all of these boards here. I think those feel good enough, even though they're a little thinner than a regular 2x. Even though we've got 2 foot on center here, when you stand on the middle, that board really doesn't bow that much. So it feels good to stand on that. So I'm gonna say screw it. And the kick plates and the actual treads are all gonna be out of that cedar toned stained boards that I can get from the store. So that way, at least they're stained for like the next year. I did get this side kind of mocked up already. I need another bracket back there. I forgot that I wasted a bracket. So right now it's just kind of screwed in place to hold it. But we've got it now completely done, that it's gonna look like that. That's how the taper is gonna look like. Obviously I still have to cut out more treads. I did just knock off the nubs on top, if you will, because I want to go ahead and finish this real quick before I go to the store. And that is this last piece of lumber that's going to go right here, and it's going to go all the way across. And I was waiting to do that because now I know where this board right here is, and where the stairs will actually start, and where I need to overhang the next board as it comes on out on board number 2 and then board number 3, hopefully, to finish this out. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these 2 real quick, and then we'll head to the store, and hopefully by the end of today all of the stairs will be completely done on the front kick plates and on the actual treads that we're going to be using. That's my 3 steps right there. So another thing that I'm noticing on this last step, I've had to make these last 2 boards here actually a hell of a lot wider than I would want to make 2. And that is because if I don't make these 3 steps here long enough, then I'm not gonna get a proper kick plate installed here. Because again, I run into the same problem. There's absolutely no definition right in here, where if you come on up here, you don't have enough overhang. So, and these boards are kind of thick. So this kick plate up in here, I'm probably gonna have to trim down maybe a little bit, like send it through the planer to get it a little bit thinner. I'm also gonna have to take this board and bring it out further a little bit, which is gonna make a hell of a gap back here. But maybe on these trim boards here, or tread boards, if I do have a big old gap, maybe just because they're stairs, I just have a big gap, so all the stairs are consistent, but all the decking up here is consistent with how thin everything is. So that goes to teach you, make sure you go ahead and go outside and bring your way in first, or else you're going to be dealing with these problems, as opposed to just rip cutting a board down here in the back and trying to make that fit. So is what it is, but we'll get it done. I'll try to make it look as good as possible. But now that I know what my problems are and what I'm looking at, let's go to the store. Let's purchase all the lumber that I need so I can make these stairs all the way down and all the kick plates finished. All right, everybody, while I have a few minutes of light here, basically I tried and I failed the first attempt. Something's up with the stringers. Every one of them seems to be pushed back or pulled forward at a different length, even though they're all set against the back evenly. Also, I've measured out, they're cut right, because all of these first 5 stringers in here, those are all manufactured stringers, but they're giving me hell with basically how they're moving and stuff, or they're like warped, or they're just not placed right against the deck. So I'm having to cut back on the riser just a little bit on some of them. That way all of my boards and my kick plates stay straight. So if you can see what I've done, hopefully so far, I've got the full top done, and the first one, and then the top, and then the second one. So those 2 are all that I got done today, but they are completely done. So tomorrow we can go ahead and finish out number 3, and then we'll have to kick out or cut out the stringer on the side. And I did modify and decided not to do the 2-inch overhang. I am cutting them completely flush with the stringer. Yes, my kick plates are running long, I still have to cut those, but all of my treads are running completely straight or flush with the stringer. And I did decide I don't want to see this ugly 2x right here, so I think we're going to get some PVC trim, because the PVC edges, like in between the gaps and stuff, that will be exposed. So I don't want that to rot out, as water can sit down in there. So if it's PVC, it'll never rot, it'll last a lifetime. We just have to worry about, again, if water gets down into corners or rain or snow, is it going to rot that corner out, or can it have like a way to kind of drip the water out in that way that it doesn't like sit on top of there. So just something that I have to modify, just one other thing that I have to do. But I think putting trim up along there will look very nice painted. Piece of trim up here will look very nice painted. But now you can see why I want the front fascia to have a trim on it, so that it basically blocks all of this, and the only thing left is this 6x6, which doesn't look too bad. It'll look nice. It's just taking me a hell of a lot longer than I thought, and I still do have to figure out what I'm going to do on that very last board right here on this edge, because I do not have the length to get out further. So that run right there is going to be a little bit tricky. The other side is not so bad, so the porch must be a little bit tilted like this, or as I ran my boards out, the boards kind of tapered in more than one side, but we'll figure it out and go from there. So I'll be back tomorrow or Wednesday and have one more crack at this. All right, everybody, wrapping up the day, wrapping up the video, and wrapping up the steps. I want to see what you guys think, and then I want to see what modifications I may need to do or extra trim work, and just see what you guys think. So the stairs are done. Everything is bolted together. Like I said, on this side, we are completely flush. So we either have the option, with that all being completely flush is just to paint it, stain it. Hopefully they stain the exact same color, and we leave it as that. Again, because if water gets, you know, down in like these corners right here, it can either leak off this 2x4 or 2x12 as the stringer, or it can leak down here and go down there and not really like rot anything, or it can just drain away. As opposed to on this side, which I still have to do some cleaning up and everything, but that's what I was talking about. So obviously water can get down in this corner now, and it can't really flow off of this side over here, but it can still drain off the other way, this side right here, and drain off. And I left these gaps plenty big enough back in here and back where the treads are, so that way water can flow and things can dry out. But before I tidy this up and do more screwing and caulking and everything else, what do you guys think? Should we have that blocked off like that and giving a little bit different of a look? Or should we have it completely off to the side where it just falls off into nothing? And obviously when we put our railings up, the railing will kind of take your eye away from that corner, because the railings are probably going to be set in, you know, a couple inches, you know, like right in through here, and go up through there and actually provide a railing. And then I still have to figure out if we do go with the trim, I might have to replace these two top boards here, because I think it would be a better look for, it wouldn't make sense to cut the top of the PVC right here flush with these boards, because then you can see it and water can get down in between there, as opposed to these two right here. If they just went over a little bit and they hid the top of this, then that might look a little bit more finished and better off. So I don't know, what do you guys think? I still have to figure out what I'm going to do with these boards here, again, because my length isn't 100% perfect. At least on this side it's not bad, but over here it's pretty bad. I did find a 2x8 at the store that I could plane down and cut down instead of getting a 5.5 inch board if I had like a 6-inch board. So it was just a half of an inch longer. It would give me my overhang on this side. I could do that. That is an option. I would just have to round the two corners that get cut down, rip cut all the way. But it is an option. There is a already stained board out there that would color match everything up in there, and then that would look good. And then, I don't know. I think we need to figure out what we're going to do again, how we're going to trim everything out board-wise in through here, and probably just wait on the lumber, because the prices obviously are still a little bit crazy right now. But at least you guys have an idea of what I'm finally talking about, to have stairs that go from 12 feet up to 8 as a taper. And I think it gives the house a hell of a lot better of a look. More masculine, more inviting, more southern, if you will, I guess. But I want to post this video again for you guys. Trim, no trim. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. And again, I'll just wrap this up here, and we'll stop back again and continue like part 2 to finish it out. So if you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, comment down below, and if you got anything to say on personal messaging for any reason, you can hit us up on NeckofTheWoods on Instagram at NeckofTheWoods 2020, and we'll go from there. So until then, I'll see you guys next time.